Welcome to the Fear and Greed Business News Afternoon Report for Tuesday, the 28th of November, 2023. I'm Sean Aylmer. Every afternoon, we've got the 5 stories that happened today that you need to know about. Story number 1, the S&P ASX 200 closed up 0.4% today to finish at 7,015 points, though earlier in the day it was close to 1% higher. The real estate stocks led the way, and the consumer companies and financials also did well. Not so the energy companies, and the tech stocks also underperformed. Among the large caps, Fortescue was up 1.5%, while National Australia Bank was the best of the majors, rising 1.2%. Industrial property giant Goodman Group rose 1.3%. Energy leader Woodside fell 1.6%. Helios' share price jumped 7%. That was the best of the top 200. It held its annual general meeting today, and departing chair Jenny McDonald repeated that the board understands the frustration of shareholders. That's particularly so because about $2 billion of value has been wiped from the company over the past 2 years, but McDonald wouldn't apologise for it. Core Lithium was the worst on the day, of the top 200 at least, down 4.5%. In corporate news, West Gold Resources jumped 3% after receiving board approval to expand its Big Bell project in Western Australia, and Imugene's share price jumped 10% after it announced it had been granted fast-track designation from the US Food and Drug Administration for the clinical evaluation of its metastatic advanced solid tumours program against a new form of cancer. Story number 2, retail sales fell last month, according to the Bureau of Statistics, pointing to a slowing economy as interest rates bite household budgets. Following a big jump in September and a rise in August, retail sales were down 0.2% in October, with a drop across all categories with the exception of food retailing. Now, the downturn might be a reflection of people waiting to take advantage of discounts during the Black Friday sales events. Makes sense because clothing, footwear and personal accessory retailing fell sharply last month, and those products did very well in the recent sales. Turnover totaled $35.8 billion last month, and clearly the trend line for retail sales is flattening. Story number 3, the share price of Collins Foods, holder of the KFC and Taco Bell licenses in Australia, jumped nearly 8% today after announcing strong revenue and profit growth. Collins Foods operates 270 KFC stores in Australia and 72 in Europe, and that's where it's getting much of its growth from, Europe, where underlying profit was up more than 50%. Collins also has a growing network of Taco Bell locally, and today said half-year profit had jumped to $51 million from $11 million a year earlier. In essence, KFC is doing well as diners choose more affordable meals in the face of rising cost of living pressures. The group said inflation remains a challenge, with labour and energy the most notable areas of cost growth. Story number 4, Plenti share price finished 65% higher today. That's quite a spike, after announcing a deal whereby it will co-brand loans for electric vehicles with National Australia Bank. NAB will also refer customers to Plenti wanting finance to buy solar panels and batteries for their homes. Plenti's share price initially doubled this morning after the announcement, which also included a statement that the major bank may acquire up to 15% of the personal lender. It came back a bit during the day. Now, Plenti Chief Executive Daniel Foggo said additional products arising from the partnership are on the way. For National Australia Bank, it gets Plenti's digital onboarding and fulfilment platform to assess care and renewable energy borrowers. The loans will be funded by National Australia Bank and held on its balance sheet. National Australia Bank, along with Westpac, is already a funder of Plenti. And story number 5, there's been another agreement between Tel Aviv and Hamas to extend the current ceasefire until Thursday morning as more freed hostages arrived back in Israel. The two sides will pause fighting for an additional 2 days, Qatar's foreign ministry said on X, while Hamas said in a statement that a deal was reached to extend the temporary humanitarian ceasefire for an additional 2 days under the same conditions as the previous ceasefire. The White House confirmed the agreement. Overnight, 11 hostages were freed. That's it for the afternoon report for Tuesday, the 28th of November, 2023. Michael Thompson and I will be back tomorrow morning with the Wednesday edition of Fear and Greed Business News. I'm Sean Aylmer. Enjoy your evening.